This is the Honky Tonk Man, the greatest intercontinental champion of all time. And if you want to get in touch with the Honky Tonk Man, remember, twitter.com/official HTM. That's twitter.com/official HTM. Or you can go to facebook.com/Honky Tonk Man Official. Facebook.com/Honky Tonk Man Official. Or for all the links of every way to get in touch with the Honky Tonk Man, for all of your wants and needs, don't forget honkytonkman.net. We got a new site going. We got new things going. We got it updated. You can find out all the news, all the views, everything that's going on. The Dave Clark 5 and all of these people from all over the world have been downstairs in the basements of these little theaters in England. Those are the nastiest locker rooms in the world.
Yeah. One time we were playing in London, and our dressing room was in a hallway, and at one side of the hallway was a security guard, and at the other end of the hallway was a security guard. And so we went down, we played our show. When we came back, somebody had rifled through our stuff, stolen our passports, our wallets. And so we said, how is that possible when there's a security guard at one end of the hall and a security guard at the other end of the hall? And they said, well, we didn't see anything.
I know, and you know that you by saying that, last week, I guess, when the WWE wrestlers went down to South Africa and the plane landed, they got their bags, and someone had cut the locks off the bags, gone through and stole all the guys' stuff out of their bags.
Oh, no, I didn't hear that. That's terrible.
Yeah, it's like they just pillaged through those. It's like, are we the only country in the world, in America, and North America, Canada, that has all this airport security and stuff, but you go down to South Africa, I guess it doesn't mean anything.
Have you been down to South Africa?
I went there once for WWE and did TV commentary with JR. Jerry Lawler didn't have his passport or something, and so at that time, or he was getting it renewed. So they said, "Do you have your passport? We need you to go to." I think we went to Johannesburg.
Right.
And I said, "Yeah, I have my passport." They said, "I said, well, when am I going?" They said, "Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m."
There you go.
We were in New York doing one of the shows that they did in that small ballroom when they were doing that Raw show. You played
the Forum?
Yeah, I think so. Upstairs there, you probably played that. Yeah. And so I was already in New York. I said, "Well, where am I flying out of?" They said, "JFK. It's tomorrow at 6 a.m." Okay, so we finished the show at midnight. So I gave my stuff to Killer Kowalski, and I said, "I'll be back in a week. Keep my stuff for me."
Wow.
Did you were from around the Chicago area then? So, like you said, you were introduced to wrestling with Dick the Bruiser and those guys. And
right.
How do you think? You said you fell off as a fan. And most people did there was time when we were there, and Hogan and all of us, and we had tons and tons of fans. Then all of a sudden there was that period for about 5 or 6 or 8 years, the fans just disappeared. And like you said, then Stone Cold came along, and The Rock came along, and the Attitude Era, and things really changed. But when you looked at it as watching these guys like Dick the Bruiser and Bobo and those guys compared to these young fellas today, there is a huge difference.
Yeah, it's hard because in some ways you're comparing apples and oranges, but at the end of the day, it's still about how do you entertain people and how do you get them to buy into the story that's being told. And of course, the athleticism is different now. The expectation of the fans for high spots and even, you certainly would know more than me, but people work at different pace than they used to work.
Yes, it has. It's changed that, and I'm glad you mentioned that because all the fans ask me all the time, what's so different about it? Why is it so different now than it was then? And my group of guys we were into show business and real entertainment. As opposed to now, like you said, it's more the athleticism and stuntman type activities that I can't do.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, at the end of the day, the people who are most successful in the wrestling business are the storytellers. that can back it up in the ring. But it's very few people have ever been hugely successful at the highest levels by doing a lot of crazy stuff.
You're absolutely right, and I compare it. They say, how were you able to do what you did? And I don't really have an answer for it. It's like when you write a song, and if it becomes a huge hit, you don't know why it became a huge hit. You wrote it. That's all. So,
yeah, I've scratched my head plenty of times wondering why one song gets picked over another, and then it's not like people like this song a little bit and this song a little bit more. I mean, it's a huge difference sometimes, and it puzzles me because they don't sound that different to me.
I know, and I would we're our own worst enemies as far as critics of our work, of what we do, and I would always go back and look at the interviews and look at what I did and how I was standing and what should I change here, what should I say now, and it was a constant work in progress.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so with the stuff you do and touring around and doing the band and the songs and everything, I mean, our lifestyles are very, very similar, but they're extremely different. I can tell you that.
Well, girls of wrestling tend not to be as cute as fangirls of rock and roll. So let's start there. And you know what I'm talking about, Honky Tonk Man.
Well, Billy, let me tell you something. No, I better not. Anyway, somebody mentioned something about one of the basketball players, and there were John Holmes or somebody had been with 14,000 women. I don't know if I've been with that many, but my wife.
As long as you got your guitar, you're never lonely.
I'm happy, but that's something that's changed in our business also. Is that part of it with the lady fan base. For some reason we don't have the lady fan base that we had when I was a young kid breaking in the wrestling business. It's like, man, oh man, this is it's cherry picking time. I mean, you just okay, here there's 25 of them lined up over there.
Well, God bless on that one,
I'm glad you mentioned that, and I'm so glad. I don't want to keep you because I know you're busy, but I'm just so happy to meet you at the Cauliflower Alley, and now to have you come on the show and us talk, and it's like you and I are just sitting in the locker room.
Anytime. It's a real pleasure and an honor to meet you there and to talk to you today.
Well, it's like I said, I appreciate you coming on and tell the fans out there, for the wrestling fans, how they can get in touch with you. And for some of these unscrupulous promoters, I mean, you do all your booking yourself, I think, so you don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, we're okay. And actually, I wanted to mention that I may be involved with the wrestling promotion, an indie promotion, starting up in Chicago. So hopefully, if we do that, we can have you come.
Well, I would love to do that, and that's great. And are you working on a new album now? Is that right?
Yes, sir. Yeah, about halfway through. Hope to have it out in September or October. So.
Okay, and the fans all know how to get in touch with you because you're easy to find.
Yeah, it's Smashing Pumpkins on Facebook or smashingpumpkins.com.
That's it. The legend. You are.
working on it. I'm not.
Thanks,
I wasn't Intercontinental Champion for was it 7 years or?
Oh gosh, no, only 64 weeks.
64 weeks.
Yeah, that's all.
I always thought it was 7 years. I don't know where I got that.
I've been saying it for 7 years.
All right.
There's nothing like self-promotion, Billy. You should know that.
Hey, after your speech, I learned a few things.
Well, I hope so. Thanks so much, Billy.
Okay, nice talking to you. Take care. Bye-bye.
We love you.